Hello, I'm Steve Moore. We're talking about the debate over historic preservation in Winter Park. A recent unapproved demolition has sparked intense discussion over protections for significant sites in the city. So who better to discuss this issue than Beth Kassab from the Winter Park Voice. Thanks so much for coming in to talk about your reporting, Beth. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Winter Park's got a long history, I think it's fair to say, of historic preservation. What's this latest fight about?
Right, so this started to unfold last year when one of the historic contributing homes to the historic district in College Quarter was demolished without approval from the Historic Preservation Board, which is required.
That usually requires some going through.
Right. So in this case, the Historic Preservation Board had approved some pretty major renovations to the home, but there was only approval to demolish a garage in the back of the home.
Right.
And what ended up coming down was most of the home except for part of the first floor and the chimney.
Yeah.
And this caused a lot of shock, and people were really concerned about this, and it really sparked a huge debate in front of the board over what to do in situations like this. This is a pretty unusual situation for Winter Park.
I mean, concerned enough that the City Commission took up a new ordinance on historic preservation just this week. What does that do?
Right. So what has happened is over the last year, there were discussions over exactly how the ordinance should handle scenarios like this. Certainly, this isn't the first time there's been an unapproved demolition in Winter Park. They do see that from time to time, but this one was a bit unusual in the sense that the builder and the homeowner came to the Historic Preservation Board, got approval for, like I said, major renovations, but not for the demolition aspect. What happened is that the Historic Preservation Board negotiated a monetary contribution from this builder who took the blame for what happened. And the homeowner, though, was allowed to keep the variances and keep the approvals for the project, and the project was allowed to move forward. So this new ordinance aims to clarify a lot of this and make the process easier and hopefully avoid situations like this going forward.
You know, some people in other parts of our viewing area might look at this and think, why is this such a big deal in Winter Park? They knocked a house down, so what? Why is historic preservation such an important issue in the area you cover?
So, you know, Winter Park is an older community. College Quarter happens to be one of the oldest neighborhoods. It's like the largest collection of century-old homes in the region, or one of them.
Yeah.
It's known for its interesting mix of architectural styles. There's been a lot of work done, and it's the residents themselves that voted to become a historic district. And you know, what that means is that the board approves major work done to the house or renovations. It doesn't mean the board has to do approvals for every little thing done, and it doesn't have to do with anything on the interior home. We're really talking about the exterior facing areas. And Winter Park, as you said, has taken historic preservation very seriously over the years. This is a community that moved Casa Feliz. I believe it was something along the lines of 2 football fields to save that home. A lot of people know it. It's right on the Winter Park 9 golf course. This is also a community that rallied together to save something called the Capon House. That was actually floated on barges across a portion of Lake Virginia, and now is a very well-known museum and event space.
So where does this go in the future? I mean, we have an ordinance now. Is that the end of the matter? Are these fights all done, or are we going to see this continue to pop up, do you reckon?
Oh, you know, I think in Winter Park there's always going to be battles over historic preservation. And the ordinance that was approved just recently by the City Commission does not include explicit penalties for unauthorized demolitions, but it does include a penalty. And some folks describe that penalty as even worse than a monetary fine.
Yeah.
It would actually require, if you bulldoze a house without authorization, the penalty would be not to pay money, but to have to reconstruct the house as it was and to lose any variances you might have received to do the construction work that you wanted to do on the house, such as adding square footage or that kind of thing. So
That's a deterrence.
Right. So the hope by the City Commission is that this does serve as a deterrent and folks do this kind of work within the bounds of what's set up.
Well, it's really interesting. We'll share a link to your reporting on this important issue. Thanks so much for coming in and talking about it. Beth Cassett from the Winter Park Voice. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.